What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about SoFi. Absolutely kick-ass day. I want to break it down on what really caused it, what came out associated to SoFi, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi did go up 6.53%, 1368 the low, 1420 the high. You had a lot of volume, so 74.08 million shares being traded, 64 is the average. And for those of you that like to kind of follow my SoFi videos, I bring up where volume comes from because it does kind of signal whether today, like a green day, is kind of being artificially pumped up or whatever else. But today you did see truly institutions buying SoFi. So it wasn't just algorithmic trading pushing up the market and SoFi. Institutions were legitimately buying. And the news that came out that prompted all this buying was this. Everyone knows this, I'm pretty sure, at this stage in the game, but the US and China did agree to slash their tariffs by 115% each for 90 days. Very good stuff, and that's actually not too bad in a day and a half worth of negotiations. So let me know your thoughts on that, but definitely good to see that institutions were actually buying this news, not just being artificially pumped up, like I said. Even on the dark pool, a lot of big transactions. This one right here stands out. Just occurred a couple of minutes ago. So 5.95 million. There was also another one, 2.46. So a lot of big transactions even right here. Definitely good to see and welcomed. No actual news from SoFi though, no SEC filings. There was one new analyst rating, so you did have Ken with DBS, 72% success rating, so fairly good for that. Did give a buy 1850 price target. So as a consensus of all the ratings, 1405 is that price target. So Ken's was luckily enough able to really push it higher, and so pretty much flat. But still, if you kind of subtract a lot of the negative ones, definitely it should push it to kind of the $16-17 range, which I think is fair to assume is coming next, given the broader market's momentum, and as well just a lot of institutions buying. So this is what really did also come out midway throughout the day that helped SoFi really push higher. Aside from that though, and very interesting, was shorts increased 317,000 shares. So not overly that much, but I would have anticipated, given everything that's happening, that shorts would be somewhat panic selling and kind of returning a lot of their shares. But I don't know, maybe they just want some more punishment, or maybe they do truly believe that today's green day was just a one-off. We do have CPI coming out tomorrow, so maybe that could cause some volatility, but 13.51% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 146.72 million shares overall are being shorted. So shorts did lose a substantial amount of money today, so definitely very welcomed. So I think they lost roughly like at least, I would say, about $124 million at least today. So pretty good, again, given the circumstances. Aside from all of that, moving over to options, you did have 23 million in calls, 10 million in puts. 45% of all the options being done today were bearish in nature. A couple big ones right here, so 3.6 million. And if we look at this, orient it based on premiums, it looks like that one was primarily neutral, 64% neutral, 1.23 million, and it was a 13 put expiring June the 20th. A couple of other big ones that did stand out, obviously right here. And this one, if we orient it based on all this, it looks overwhelmingly bullish. Various different strike prices. So you have 15 calls, so that is for June 18th. That was 42,000 for a premium. So a lot of random small transactions, but again, overwhelmingly bullish. So good to see and very welcomed. Aside from all that fun stuff though, looking over here, you do see a consensus based on the bulls for it to be roughly around that $15 range. So a lot more upside is anticipated. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 13. So given where SoFi did land at 14, kind of level ground based on everything. But as I mentioned in my video yesterday, I personally do not see much downside. I see a lot more upside given the macro standpoint, a lot of the recent tariff updates. I don't really see much negative unless there's a big war that does happen, or if Trump somehow just flips and somehow decides to double down on China for no apparent reason. And you never know. I'm sure there's a small likelihood of that occurring, but I don't really see much downside given everything. And one thing to take note of is that this upcoming week is a monthly change. So you can kind of see if SoFi is able to get above that $15 range, then shit is really going to hit the fan, pardon my French. You're going to see a very nice gamma squeeze. Just looking here, 27,000 at 13 for the open interest, 21,000 at that 1350, 37,000 at that 14, 18,000 at that 1450, and then 98,000 at that 15. So potentially, I would just guesstimate around 15 million shares roughly, or maybe a little bit more than that, would need to be covered based on all this. So like I said, things could get very real very fast. With SoFi closing pretty much at that 1404, it is right below this R1. So 1413 is going to be that key point to really get over early on in the day. But then again, I think that CPI data is going to be that big determining factor to really cause it to either be neutral tomorrow or continue this good momentum. But regardless, 1413 is going to be a key point to watch for. On the actual chart itself, today it was able to successfully get over this, so that 100-day moving average. So in reality, if it is able to close above that for 2 consecutive days, this is where you could see a very nice push higher. And it kind of happened again leading into their earnings on the 29th, but their earnings did bring it down below that. But key point to watch for based on the moving averages is that 1381. I think it is fair to assume that the 50 and then the 200-day moving averages are going to be left in the dust. So it is going to be kind of that make it or break it point right here, at least in the short term. But given everything, like I said, there isn't really much negatives to bring up. So yeah, let me know your viewpoint on SoFi. Are you buying the dip? What's your viewpoint on the most recent analyst rating? And do you think that this news with between China and the States, do you think that this is good, or is this just going to revert back to the 145% and no real change is going to happen? Do you think this is just kind of like an artificial push higher, or a pump if you want to call it that? So let me know your viewpoint on all that. Give yourself a shout out. Did you buy SoFi today? Did you lock in profits? Did you sell? I saw a lot of people on social media saying that they are locking in profits. And maybe, I'm not really sure why. I guess just the fact that over the last 5 days, SoFi up 8.39%, maybe that's enough for some individuals. Or even over the last 1 month, it is up 29.82%. So again, maybe some people did buy the bottom and that's it. I don't know. Let me know your general thoughts on all that. And with all that said, pop over to my Discord. It is completely free. A lot of good people talking about stocks, options, crypto, everything that you ever need in life. So link to that is in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.